Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're doing really well. Thank you again for the love and support on the most recent video. Seriously appreciate it. If you didn't check out the previous video, make sure you do, as that is 4 of the most major announcements on Hedera, and it's been one of the biggest building weeks for Hedera we have seen in a long time. We've got staking updates, we have DEXs on the testnet, as well as other announcements as well, all to do with the ecosystem in general. Massive AAA games using Hedera Hashgraph itself for in-game assets and tokenization of those assets. There's tons of stuff going on and things to get really bullish about. If you aren't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you also are. There will be plenty more content coming from me in the future of how to navigate these DEXs, dApps and applications built on top of Hedera and how to actually make the most of them, particularly the DeFi side of the ecosystem, for things like double staking, using liquidity protocols. I will also be doing a video explaining how liquidity pools work, the potential for things like impermanent loss, the risks, the benefits, rewards, etc. I'll explain it all in a video so you guys know exactly what you are doing if you're jumping into these applications, for example. Now, in today's video, there is a ton of news again to cover about the wider cryptocurrency markets. Lots of new announcements from different places, as well as some very interesting developments also happening on top of Hedera, who have reached out to me to talk about their product and project, which I will cover in this video at the end because it is very interesting. It is actually something that some of you have DM'd me in the past asking for. We'll get around to that. If we take a whistle-stop tour of the Fear and Greed Index, we can see we're now back at a 14, so not as high as we, or low, sorry, as we were in weeks prior. We did go down to a 6, which was the lowest we'd ever seen. We're now back up at a 14, so there is some confidence returning back to the markets as things begin to level out. Equities performed fairly well last week, beginning to snap that losing streak. We could still see movement towards the downside, so my plan still is just a dollar cost average into my positions. I'm still stacking as much Hbar as I possibly can. They are continuing to build massively and is one of my big bets for the future. Talking about other chains, Polygon has just done a big announcement with Polygon ID
as the boundaries.
So today they've announced the launch of the first Polygon ID integration. So Polygon ID and Polygon DAO. Polygon ID is a self-sovereign identity solution powered by 𝗟𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦 that brings huge potential for DAO governance. So the idea being effectively is that you can interact with these different dApps, for example, without actually ever having to relay your information. And it's all held custodially by you. And we will see this narrative continue to play out for other chains as well with these self-sovereign digital IDs as they become more and more prominent, particularly as governments look to integrate them as well. A lot of these chains will begin to take this stance. It's a great development by Polygon. I do actually own some Polygon. It's not something that I've purchased in quite a while. However, seeing some of the developments they are continuing to make, I may look to pick up some more in the future. Obviously, the Polygon chain as well does have some issues with things like congestion in comparison to other networks. So take that with a pinch of salt, but great development here to see, and that will further push ahead the cryptocurrency adoption as a whole as we see more projects have these initiatives to sort of revolutionize the way things are currently done in that aspect. The global cryptocurrency market cap has reclaimed the $1 trillion market capitalization mark. So again, we've seen that on the Fear and Greed Index, and it's backed up by the market cap. Things have, or starting to head back towards the upside. Still not a definitive sign that we are out of any kind of bear market whatsoever. We have got as well signals on the Bitcoin chart showing that it could be beginning to bottom out. Still doesn't change the way that I am looking at these markets. I am DCAing into those positions. Coinbase announcement for any of those that use it. Hello advanced trade, goodbye Coinbase Pro. So if any of you have been around for quite a while, you will probably remember the platform called GDAX. So people used to purchase cryptocurrency, or sorry, send fiat currency to Coinbase, send that across to GDAX to leverage the fact that it had very low fees, and then transfer the coins or tokens they purchased on GDAX to something like Binance to then have a wider offering of tokens. Coinbase Pro actually acquired, or Coinbase acquired GDAX a while back, and they turned that into Coinbase Pro. So if any of you have been using Coinbase, you will probably know the fees and spreads are quite high. Coinbase Pro is the alternative to that with slightly lower fees and tighter spreads. as well as a little bit more sort of volume and stuff, features for trading. Now, what they're doing is they're sunsetting Coinbase Pro, and they are migrating those features to a tab called Advanced Trade on Coinbase.com, which apparently is already globally available, and it has the same volume-based fees as Coinbase Pro. So if you are purchasing cryptocurrency on Coinbase, make sure you're using that advanced trade feature, as it will be saving you some money on trading fees, and you will also probably get some slightly tighter spreads, and you can set things like limit orders, stop orders, etc. It's a much better way to do things than just pressing buy through the Coinbase app, as that is where they make a majority of their money. You know, you pay for simplicity half the time. If something's quick and easy, you're most likely paying for that service. Something that looks a little bit more complicated or has, at a glance, slightly more features and is a little bit more difficult to use, you tend to benefit from that in the long run. So make sure you're paying attention to that if you do use things like Coinbase Pro. Another announcement from a big exchange, so Crypto.com now accepts Apple Pay for crypto purchases in the United States. So again, this drives forward that ease of use of these cryptocurrency platforms. So if any of you do use Apple Pay exclusively, you can now purchase cryptocurrency via Crypto.com. Again, Crypto.com's a bit of a weird one. I was using them for a portion of time here in the UK, particularly when the FCA blocked access to vendors such as Binance. However, now that that's back open, I am just continuing to use Binance instead as my main way to onboard fiat into cryptocurrency, particularly because the amount of volume on Binance mean you pay the lowest spreads on any particular trade, as well as their fees as well are ridiculously low in comparison to the rest of these products. Crypto.com does have a very good service in terms of recurring buy orders, etc. However, again, you pay for that via the spreads that they have, as well as some of the hidden fees within the app itself. Nevertheless, it's a good platform if you're just getting started, and a nice way to get yourself accustomed to purchasing cryptocurrency. Good addition there. Matt Hancock back at it again as well, saying no country can stop the crypto revolution. One of the very few points I tend to agree with him on, which is really nice to see. Again, many of you from the UK will be familiar with who he is. Jumping across, so looking at Celcius and Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs joins deep-pocketed investors eyeing crypto lender Celcius's assets. The bank has been reaching out to institutional investors to gauge interest in the distressed debt fundraise, according to two sources familiar with the matter. So the idea being is they are angling to raise approximately $2 billion to snap up distressed assets stuck in limbo from troubled digital asset lender Celcius. The fundraise, which one source said was likely to occur via the investment bank's asset management unit, could purchase assets from Celcius at a discount, even if the lender does not declare bankruptcy. The source said the $2 billion is an estimation at this stage, adding that such a raise would be in line with the big tickets the bank typically requires to make an investment worthwhile for its wealthy backers. A spokesperson for Goldman was not immediately available for comment. The sources were granted anonymity to discuss sensitive business dealings. CoinDesk apparently first reported this capital raise. The initiative would place Goldman squarely in the growing numbers of traditional financiers looking to profit from buying cryptocurrencies and equity, as well as refinancing debt from crypto investment firms underwater as a result of the latest market downturn. So what we can see here is effectively large investment banks with, billions, if not maybe even trillions of assets under management coming in and buying up or buying out these failing cryptocurrency exchanges and projects at a deep discount. And the only reason they'd be doing that is because they know the markets will turn back towards the upside and there will be a return on investment that they can provide to their investors. There is no way on planet Earth that Goldman Sachs or any other investment bank or institution would come in and purchase up a failing platform if it didn't believe its underlying assets would turn a profit in the future. And if we remember, majority of those underlying assets that Celcius was holding was actually Ethereum staked up in those protocols, which couldn't be liquidated without heavy penalties. So in short, effectively Goldman is saying they are willing to buy up a ton of Ethereum at a massive discount from Celcius in order to help solve its insolvency issues. We can see here Celcius, which ran $12 billion in May, has been on the brink of insolvency since the firm abruptly said it would halt all withdrawals from its platform earlier this month. In the event of a bankruptcy proceeding, customers would be considered unsecured creditors and thus far down the list in terms of recouping their assets. Goldman didn't want to buy at the top of the market. One source said this is more their style. And that's exactly it. You know, they are literally taking advantage of what's going on, and they have the weight and backing behind them in order for themselves to do this. And this is how they will enter these positions into the cryptocurrency markets half the time. They won't be doing over-the-counter trades like the many of us. They will find other ways to get skin in the game, so to speak. Again, writing's on the wall. Do what they do, not what they say. Clearly here, they are looking at taking a severely large position in the crypto markets for themselves, and this will continue to grow based on the other articles we have heard coming out from Goldman Sachs itself. So kind of bullish news anyway for the cryptocurrency markets in general. We can see this here as well was published by Blockworks, saying that they wanted to raise the 2 billion. Jumping back across to Hedera, so some really big news that sort of just going live, and we may hear some more news about a potential partnership in the future coming out Monday, maybe even Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. However, it is web23.hbar. They reached out to me actually just to let me know about their product. I'd had several different DMs from some of you guys that watch the channel talking about smart domains. So for example, you can buy .ethereum domains. Some of you will be familiar with that. So what web23.hbar is actually a smart domain platform built on top of Hedera for .hbar domains. So one secure DNS platform for all your domains and profiles, tokenized on Hedera, as well as early access arriving soon for .hbar. So if we look across to Web23, it looks pretty smart so far. They do have a Discord server as well, so you guys can jump in there to find out a bit more information about them and speak with the team. And we can see here again, smart domains being a platform for all domains and profiles, tokenized directly on top of Hedera, and we should see .hbar domains going forward soon as well. I probably will actually pick one of these up if they do go live. I think it would be pretty smart. Hopefully I can get the one that I am intending to get. We have no idea yet on pricing or how majority of this is going to work. However, this is again a great addition to help expand the Hedera ecosystem itself. They've also got a mailing list you guys can sign up for. If you click on get notified, punch in your email address, and you will be added to a mailing list, which I'm presuming will have further announcements in the future as they move through the cycles. But like I said, there will probably be an announcement coming out as well sometime next week to do with a partnership for Web23. So I expect this to blow up fairly quickly if that does go ahead. And you guys, I'm sure, will be fully aware of that. Just wanted to round up the video as well, talking about the DEXs. Of course, you've got Hbar Suite in the testnet as well at the moment, and you've also got Saucerswap. Again, I've had quite a few questions from you guys. If you want to access the testnet versions or these developer versions of Saucerswap or Hbar Suite, you must have a testnet account. You can find that on Hedera's website. They are free to sign up. You can create a testnet account, and then you import that to your Hashpack wallet using the private key or seed phrase, as well as the account ID. You will be assigned like 10,000 Hbar every day on that testnet account, so you can interact with these different dApps and to trial them yourselves. Please also be aware when these DEXs do go live, you probably won't be able to use a ledger associated wallet because they do not support Hedera token service tokens or HTS tokens. So what I would probably do is I'd create a separate wallet on your Hashpack, and then you can send Hbar from your ledger associated wallet to your, say, burner wallet on Hashpack, which you can then use to interact with these DEXs. But again, do be aware, if you do buy tokens such as Source or HSuite, Dovu, for example, you will not be able to send those back to your Hbar secured ledger wallet because the support just isn't there right now. So hopefully that kind of clears that up and how you can sort of navigate that in the short term if you wish to do so. Looking at the UI, again, I covered this in the previous video, but looking at the UI itself, it is incredibly smart, and they have been ironing out majority of the bugs over here on Saucerswap. We can obviously see some of the initially supported tokens. Obviously, we've got Source, Seekey, HST, NADA, Hbar, Cream tokens as well. There will be an announcement, I believe, coming out very soon about Cream tokens and some pools on Saucerswap. Of course, these can be used for those games over on creamies.space, I believe the URL was. I will leave that down in the description. And obviously, you can get those from the NFTs as well. But they are building some very fun stuff for the ecosystem, which is nice to see. Also got Jan tokens, Dovu, HBarX, USDC, and Galaxy. Tons of different stuff going on here. You've then got the liquidity pools where obviously you can supply equal value parts of two different tokens to the pool. And this then enables you to receive a percentage of the transaction fees processed via Saucerswap when it goes live. I believe from their initial docs, 5/6 of all transaction fees will be redistributed to liquidity providers. If you were to supply tokens, you will then appear in the My Pools. So this was me trialing it, and you get these sort of receipt tokens that you can use. Be aware, obviously, with liquidity pools, there is obviously things like impermanent loss, etc. Again, I will cover all of this in depth when I make a full how to use video on Saucerswap once it goes fully live. If we look at farming as well, so what these crop circles are, is if you provide liquidity and you get those liquidity tokens, not only do you receive a portion of the rewards via transactions processed on the DEX itself, you can then additionally stake those liquidity protocol tokens on the crop circles to earn some additional yield. So it's another nice feature of Saucerswap itself. And then finally, their last tab at the moment is the portfolio wallet, which looks at the different crop circles you're in, liquidity pools, for example, and how your sort of portfolio is looking at the moment. So seriously nice UI at the moment. Really looking forward to this launching, and obviously Hbar suite as well with some different features. This is something that is highly anticipated in the community, and it appears to be functioning very well so far from what I've seen on the Discord server with feedback. Wrapping up the video, just wanted to look at the testnet figures. So something that was posted over on Reddit a couple of days ago. The testnet was at 5,000 TPS, so a massive increase over where it normally is. And this is pretty much all down to the transactions being processed over on Saucerswap and Hbar suite on the testnet at the moment. So we can see how these DEXs and dApps within the ecosystem will begin to drive transactions on Hedera itself, and we will probably see a lot of newcomers coming across to Hedera when this decentralized finance ecosystem really begins to blossom. Anyway, that wraps up this video. If you did enjoy, leave a like, drop a comment if you've got something to say. I do try and respond to as many of them as I can. Obviously, just watch out for bots. I won't ask you to DM me. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.